One of the big stumbling blocks, investor attitudes and their benchmarking, I guess, their mandates. Is that one of the restrictions? What are the obstacles and how are we going to move forward?
Sure. I think, in my mind, I think clearly the investors sort of arena is the place a lot of work needs to get done. I think you touched on both points. I think one is purely a change in mindset, which clearly has been happening. I think there was a fair amount of skepticism before Python succeeded in terms of their ability to get a transaction done. I think there were a fair number of sort of skeptics on the ability for the bond market to absorb, especially in Asia, Asian investors, long tenor amortizing structures. So that's clearly helped. There is a changing mindset. But I think moving from a refinancing case like that to greenfield, it is a big step. I think part of it comes back to capability, investor capability. And again, I think with the right sort of wraps and guarantees for the construction period, if they can really effectively bifurcate that risk and get comfortable with it, that's a great way to get them involved, especially in sites. Because otherwise, again, expecting local currency investors to build this sort of project finance capability to get comfortable with actual greenfield risk on their own book is going to be difficult to be a very long-term process. I think it's probably not the right way to sort of go about it. I think the second thing away from sort of investors' capability is from a regulatory standpoint, giving some of the largest sort of institutional investors in the local markets enough sort of leeway to look at deals like this. I think in some of our conversations, clearly we're heading more and more towards this sort of local currency solutions. And that ultimately, while foreign investors would play a part in it, ultimately needs to be anchored for the good of the market by local investors, by people who are playing in their natural currency. And that really comes back to institutional funds, pensions, social security, et cetera. And I think, looking at different jurisdictions, there are clearly, I think Malaysia's done a great job with it in terms of supporting long-term real asset infrastructure investment. But I think in other markets, clearly a lot can be done on the regulatory side to create the conditions, to create the interest rate and inflation stability, but also to give institutional funds, state-owned ones, the flexibility to play in the domestic capital markets.